So today here at the Rock Pit, we're joined by PJ Farley, the bass player for legendary Trixter, who are coming out to Australia for the first time in their entire career, along with Stevie Rochelle from Tough and Lorraine Lewis from Femme Fatale. Welcome to the Rock Pit, welcome to Australia, and welcome to episode 2 of 50 Shades of Slaids. It's a great pleasure to have you with me here today, PJ.
Well, thanks. The pleasure's all mine. It's a long time coming.
It has been. Now, the history of the band, and I guess the way a lot of us Australians discovered the band, wasn't through the usual channels. We didn't have MTV. Our main exposure to you guys was through magazines, and I remember coming across you guys in Metal Edge, and that's what sort of drove me to go and seek out the debut album. Now,
Let's
the
hear it.
interesting story about all of this sort of stuff is that, that's the way that we found our music. And the way that you guys, I guess, were marketed and so heavily thrust into publications like Metal Edge, was that all a bit surreal for you guys to be thrown into the industry that way?
Um, it was definitely surreal. I mean, to especially you mentioned Metal Edge magazine. I mean, that was one of our biggest supporters,
Mm.
um, next to MTV at that point. Metal Edge and Jerry Miller, who owned the magazine, ran the magazine. Such a, I mean, they were with us from day one, literally day one, putting us in little black and white photos in the beginning of the magazine, and then slowly, before we knew it, we had an entire issue dedicated to us. So yeah, they were big supporters, and that was a surreal moment because I grew up on Metal Edge magazine too. I used to get it every month. I'd go down to the local, magazine store for school and wait for the new issue to come out. So it was, yeah, it was a dream come true, really.
Absolutely. So the band signed to MCA Records in May of '89, and in the September of that year, the debut came out. If what I'm reading has been correct, is that there was actually an album before that, which was called Just Having Fun, which never ever saw light of day. And that was also pre you joining the band. I think you joined in '88. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, that was just having fun was the band's demo. It was the first demo that the band did
How much of
before I
that
joined them.
material carried on to the debut album?
Oh my God. I don't know if any of it did. Um, Maybe Only Young Ones was on there, I want
Yeah,
to say. I don't remember what was on there, but I want to say maybe Only Young Ones.
yeah, yeah. So when you joined Trixter, I mean, as a songwriting foundation, obviously Steve had been writing songs for many many years. How did the two of you cross paths, and I guess how did the musical relationship and the writing relationship form between you both?
Well, I'd been like Trickster. I started really young too, playing the same club circuit. So I was in a band that would play on the same bill as Trickster. We'd find ourselves playing the same night often, and exchange conversation every once in a while. And I think when it was time for them to get a new bass player, Steve you know, just thought I would really kind of fit in, and boy, was he wrong. But yeah, he called me, and turns out it worked out pretty well. And since then, yeah, I mean, obviously, when I joined the band, they had a lot of material written, and a lot of it wound up on the first record. Um, and then as I got older, started getting more and more into songwriting. I remember I was just 15 years old when I joined Trixter, so it was, you know, uh, it was a learning process for me, and it just grew, and I always had my sights on doing that, becoming a songwriter, and uh, you know, kind of playing a role in any way, shape, or possible. I didn't necessarily need to be the guy. I just want to be part of it in some way, shape, or form. So that's kind of the way it is now to this day. I mean, he's still the primary songwriter, and um, I'm a part of it. So it just works. It works well like that.
Yeah, yeah. so for an album and songs that were written when really you guys were just kids, I mean, to still have life and longevity and a love of these songs to be heard by audiences and a part of so many of our youths. For me, I mean, discovering music was everything for me. Um, to know that these songs still resonate, it must be a, a special feeling to know that from such an early age you've made such an impact on so many people.
Yeah, it's incredible, and Steve and I talk about it every night on stage. That we're just so thankful and appreciative that we kind of get, as I call it, grandfathered in. We made a record that really struck a chord with people, put us on the map,
Yeah,
and basically, people are always like, "Oh man, you guys should have been bigger. You should have been so much bigger." And I'm like, you know what? I, I'm not. I'm not sweating that because I think the fact that I got such a great retirement package, so to speak,
yeah,
the fact that 35 plus years we can still do this because of the success of that record
yeah.
is, nothing to have a problem with at all.
Not at all. And I guess for me, I guess the thing that really solidified my love of Trixter's music was the second album here. Now, what are your thoughts on that record?
Yeah, I mean that was obviously a more mature record. We grown a lot since the material on the first record, and it was one that we were proud of. It just came out in a you know bad time.
As the
The,
world turned it, as the
the
musical
show
world
was
turned
kind the
itself
show was
upside
kind of
down.
over.
Yeah,
Yep, show was kind of
that's
over for us, for bands like us. So it was, but it doesn't change the fact that we're proud of the record. So I mean, and at the end of the day, that is why we do it.
yeah,
Would we have preferred to get some more life out of it? Of course.
yeah, yeah,
We put a lot of time, effort, money into into making that record,
yeah.
and we would have liked to have ridden it for a little bit. But at the end of the day, we're still proud of it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it really did show that maturity in songwriting. I guess that's why it sort of appealed to me and sort of really made me go back and revisit the first record again. Um, because when you think about it, at the time when the debut came out, there was just the market was just so saturated with new releases. Everybody was pulling something out, and for a young guy in Australia who's hounding his record store for imports, it became hard to choose.
Right.
You
Yeah.
consumed as much as you possibly could, and I think by the time Here came out, I'd really sort of settled into the band. Um, and then obviously from Here we have probably my favorite covers album EP of all time, which is Your Undercovers. I absolutely love that record. The song
Wow.
selection is perfect in every way. There are some incredible covers of some great songs. 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover. I mean, what a left of center track to pull out and
Right.
and to absolutely nail.
Thank you. Yeah, we're proud of that. That came out, uh, better than we expected. And not that I don't even know if we expected anything in particular, but we were like, wow, this is really right in our wheelhouse. This came out really good. And we played it live a lot, up until last year, really. I mean, and and we'll probably put it back in the set at some point. But yeah, that was a fun song. It is a fun song, and it came out really good. I'm proud of that one.
And obviously, there's a little bit of Aussie homage in there to AC/DC with Dirty Deeds as well, which is
Of course.
absolute cracking version again.
Yeah.
So with this first tour of Australia, I mean, what can we expect as fans? I mean, what's going to be in the set? I know we've only touched on the original era or the first year of the band. And there's obviously the two albums afterwards.
Right.
Human Era and
New audio machine.
New Audio Machine, which were both stunning records. Will we get to see the whole catalog being represented on these shows?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we definitely play stuff from all of our records. Um, we try to stick the mother load of the first record for the most part, but yeah, there's plenty off of Here. There's some off of New Audio Machine and Human Error because I mean, you know, we're like, hey, we're here for you guys. We're going to give you the stuff we know you know, but we're also going to play some of the material that we've done since that. Not much, but we're going to touch upon it because it is part of our catalog. And, um, a song like Tattoos and Misery has really becomes uh, kind of our second anthem, if you will. It's that along with the song Human Era
Yeah,
is really has resonated with people. So, songs like that will be in the set. And, it's just up tempo, good, fun show. You will leave smiling and re-energized, that's for sure.
fantastic. It sounds incredible. Now, obviously, Trixter today is yourself, Steve, and Steve. Was there a decision for Pete to not join you guys again, or what's the basis behind the absence of Pete?
He just kind of slowly went into retirement, slowly and quietly went into retirement. He just kind of at towards the end of the four of us playing together, he had bands back home. He had, as I say, life gets in the way, and he just wasn't as interested in doing it as much, and it was tough for him to do as well. So he just kind of, like I said, slowly and quietly pulled away, and then we put it to rest for a couple of years, and then I kind of slowly put it back together when I had Steve come out with me and we did some acoustic shows, and we just had a blast. We did an acoustic show last minute because I was playing with Eric Martin from Mr. Big, and it was supposed to be me and him. We were opening for Warrant and Firehouse, and Eric got sick, and the promoter didn't want to cancel the show, so I just told Steve, "You come on out and let's just play some Trixter songs. We haven't done it in a couple of years, let alone acoustically with
Yeah,
just the two of us singing. But hey, let's give it a shot. It'll be fun." It was a quick half-hour set, but we got done with it like, oh, that was cool.
yeah,
So we started doing it more, and then we did it for about 2 years acoustically until we decided to step on the gas pedal and plug it back in
yeah.
and do it electric.
For sure. And I guess it also always begs the question: is there new Trickster music coming?
Yeah, we do have a lot of material kind of written. It's just a matter of getting a plan together as to where we might put it and how. But yeah, there's material. There's never a shortage of material. But the last year or two, we've consciously put some stuff together. So we'll see what happens. There's no rush, but there's no you know, should a label come knocking, going, "We want a record." Well, we got material, so.
Yeah, absolutely. So this triple bill for the tour, which is obviously yourselves, Lorraine Lewis and Stevie Rochelle. Are you guys all familiar and all old friends from back in the day? And how does it feel to be packaged together and sort of shipped halfway across the world?
Yeah, well, we've known Stevie for quite some time now. Uh, you know, indirectly, but also we've run into each other once in a while. But it's more of a electric, some electronic, familiarity. We've done some shows together, but we talk and text and stuff all the time. And Lorraine, we just kind of became friends with over the last couple of years. Obviously, well familiar with her, but um, yeah, we've never done anything together like this, so I think it's going to be fresh and it's going to be exciting for all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, what a time and what an era to revisit as well. But I guess for me as a Trickster fan, it's knowing that I'm going to capture everything from the beginning through to the new audio machine. The
Yeah.
I think with those last two records for Frontiers, just the resurgence in the band and the excitement that they held and the anticipation, certainly for me as a fan, it's like, man, if they grew from their debut to here, I mean, what have they done? You can only begin to imagine what they've done, sort of leading up to this new material. And you guys write some incredibly great songs, and I just want to thank you for the catalogue of songs that you have given us.
No, thank you. Wow, that's great.
So the tour kicks off at the end of this month. So you guys must be getting ready to pack your bags pretty much.
Yeah, we actually have a couple shows here in the US this weekend, and then once we get home from that, then we'll start wrapping our heads around it, mentally preparing for that flight and getting excited.
Absolutely. So do you have any messages? Do you have a message for the Australian Trixter fans and for people that love what you do?
I do have a message. Do not miss this. You will regret it. I promise you. This is going to be the show that your friends are going to be talking about. You should have come out. And we live very far away, so we don't get there. It took 35 years or so to get there now, so you don't want to miss it. Trust me.
You don't want to wait another 35. No,
That's right.
absolutely. So, look, PJ, thank you again so much for your time. Thanks for coming
Thank
back
you,
out to
Andrew.
Australia. I'll be catching the show in Melbourne, and I wouldn't miss it. So, again, thank you for your time. Thanks for coming back out. Say hi to Steve for me, and
Will do.
we'll see you in Australia.
All right. Thanks a lot, Andrew. Appreciate
No
it.
worries. Thanks, PJ. Have a great day, mate.